Welcome to the Brandon Coin YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be trying to answer to the best of my abilities as of today's date. Should you get into mining, or why should you start mining? I don't even know how I'm going to title this video yet. Maybe why should you start GPU mining 2021? And I kind of want to lead off this question showing you where I'm at, because GPU mining or starting mining is a snowball effect. And if you're not ready to feed that snowball and push that snowball down the hill and get it rolling, because you got to get it rolling for it to actually accumulate some mass, accumulate some money. If you buy one graphics card and mine on one graphics card and never expand, it scales 1-to-1 for what you make, but you're never gonna. I hate to say it, you're never gonna get anywhere, but you're never gonna get anywhere substantial. So what I mean by that is, let me show you what my farm's doing, and we'll go from there. All right, so over here, this is my nice hash view of my farm. I don't have a lot of cards, but I have obviously more than your average person. As of right now, I'm doing right at $60 a day. If we look at my average over the last 6 hours, $61 a day. So $60 a day. And I believe I have, we go over here to the rig manager, I have 6 NVIDIA miner. That one's got 4 cards on it, so there's 10. That one's offline. 11, 12, 13, 14. And then that one has 4 on it. So I have 18 graphics cards currently. 18 graphics cards are making me $60 a day. That's not necessarily the thing you need to concentrate on. But say if you were going to start today and you were going to buy one graphics card. What graphics card do you buy? You can go to what2mine.com. This is a really, really cool website. It has all these graphics cards already filled in. So you can be like, man, I found a really good deal on a 580. So I found one 580. A lot of people start out with these graphics cards. It's a really common card. They're tried and true, and they make good hash. So one 580 is going to do $2.73 a day on Ethereum as of right now, today, which is April 10th, 2021. It can be more than that tomorrow, or it can be less than that tomorrow. That's another thing you really got to think about. Obviously, if you're a long-time viewer of the channel, this video is probably not going to be hitting it for you. This is more for the newer guys. But yeah, so you're buying one 580, and you're gonna make $2.73 a day on it. So as of today, I base all my purchases off of what it can make. So that one graphics card, a little under $3 a day. How much would you pay for it? How fast do you want a return on your money? So a lot of people look at ROI as just a flat calculation. So if you take out electric, it's doing $2.42 a day. Say you get a 580 for $300. And then you divide it by 2.42, it's going to pay itself off in 123 days. Or it's going to give you back your full $300. Now, nothing stays the same. Crypto goes up, crypto goes down. The way I like to figure out ROI is how long, or what do I think I can resell this card for in 6 months from now. So I would imagine a $300 580 will still be worth $150 in 6 months from now. So can I make $150 in crypto in 6 months? So if you give yourself, we'll say 30-day months, 30-day months times 6, we got 180 days to make $150. Do I think it's realistic after power that it's going to make, $1 a day, or right under $1 a day? Yeah, that's a safe bet. So $300 for a 580, in my opinion, it's a safe bet, because you could get your money back out of mining and then selling. So your risk is really, really low there. Now paying $600 for a 580, you double everything. You're not going to get $300 out of your 580 in 6 months if the market goes down. You're still probably only going to get $150. So can you mine $450 in crypto in 6 months? I don't see that. That's a lot higher risk. So whenever you're looking at cards, you have to weigh out the ROI. And part of your ROI, if you get rid of your asset, is what you get for that asset. Graphics cards typically don't just have a limited shelf life. Some of them go for years and years and years and still mine and act and game perfectly fine. So that's another common misconception. If you mine on graphics cards, it's going to break them and it's going to make them useless. That's not necessarily true. As long as you keep them running cool, you have them undervolted, you have them tuned correctly, they'll actually last longer than putting them in a gaming rig. So now that you know how to look at what you should be buying, a lot of people are like, wait, well, what are good cards to buy? And that's where you can literally just go on this calculator or any other calculator and be like, what about a 1070? Let's calculate a 1070 out. A 1070 on Eternity is doing $214, Zhash $2, Firo $248, Tint $271. So there's some weird algorithms popping up here that a 1070 can mine that a 580 wasn't mining. So you can calculate, boom. So what should you be paying for a 1070? $300-400 max, that kind of thing. Now here's where I was talking about helping push the snowball down the hill. One card is great, and everything scales 1-to-1. But once you have 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, and you're making, say if you get up to 6 1070s, it's a very realistic goal to be able to hit 6 1070s on Firo or MTP. That's doing right at $13 a day after electric, $12.99. So you're doing $13 a day. Go ahead and we'll punch that in the old calculator. In a month, you're bringing in $390. So at this point, you're able to buy another 1070 every month, and you're not having to dip into your pocket at all. That's huge. That's huge. So in 6 months, if we stay sideways, in 6 months you have another 6 1070s. Obviously, we're using 1070s as an example because, spreading out what you get into newer cards is probably more realistic and probably a better idea. But in 6 months, you have 12 1070s, and you're up in the $25, $26 a day range. And that's what I'm talking about. It just snowballs. You end up making more and more and more. A lot of people look at, little farms like what I have, $50, $60 a day. They're like, oh my God, how can I get that now? Well, you have to earn that. You have to build up to that. And it takes time. I didn't buy all these graphics cards overnight. I didn't set everything up overnight. It takes time. You got to build up. That snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And before you know it, you're doing $100, $200 a day. The number one thing that people overlook is we're coming into summertime here in the U.S. If you are in the U.S., just be ready, because these graphics cards put off a good amount of heat, especially the older you go. So you're talking about 10 or all your 10 series NVIDIA, they put off some good heat. All your 480s, 580s, 470s, 480s, all those cards, the Pascal AMD cards, or is it Pascal? Oh my gosh, I'm totally having a brain fart. AMD RX 580 generation name. Sorry. Vulcan. Pascal's 10 series. I don't know why I was thinking Pascal. It's Polaris. That's what it is. Polaris is AMD 500s, and daggone Pascal's 1070s, 1080s. Sorry, my brain is wonky. So, but what I'm talking about is the snowballing. Boom, 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 boom. And it takes years. I mean, I've been in and out of mining for 3 to 4 years. You never really get out of mining. Unless, I guess, you just sell off everything and you like cut ties with it. But the way I was doing it in the past, when it was good, I would double down, buy more cards, mine even more, and when it got bad, I would slowly start scaling back till I hit a point where I was okay eating the electric and holding on to the coins. So then when it gets back good, I profit on those coins. I'm probably losing a lot of people here, and I apologize about that. But I guess the basic 100% thing that I want to get across to people is, if you want to get into mining, you need to have some experimental or disposable or experimental, I said experimental twice. you need some extra income. You need some money you're not afraid to lose. Even though it's a calculated investment, it's still an investment and you can still lose money. Nothing is foolproof, nothing is guaranteed, and that's just life. So don't go overpaying, grossly overpaying for graphics cards, especially in the beginning, because then that makes it that much harder to then get out. And a lot of people are like, man, Brandon, I want to mine. I just can't find no graphics cards. There are ways to get started. Obviously, the best way would be to get a mining rig, a mining-based motherboard, risers, all that stuff, so that way your overhead's as low as possible. But some people do have to start out with a pre-build. If you don't already have a computer with a graphics card in it, or say if you have a really old computer with a graphics card in it, I mean, it might be time to get a pre-build. So, like, for example, let's just go on to Amazon and see what we can find here. And I don't mean to hold you guys' time up. This is kind of me just going off on a tangent about, because I get it all the time. I get the, should I start mining? What should I start mining? What should I buy? How do I do it? And everybody wants it laid to them on a silver platter, but there's a lot of ways to success. There's not just one way. You can mine 100 million different ways and 100 million different things, and it's just all kinds of variables. So let me go answer the door because somebody's at my door, and I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I had old Grubhub at the door, so it got me some grub, and now we're back. But anyway, what I was talking about is a lot of people, if you don't already have a system, your first card, if you're having a hard time finding cards, which is it'll get better in time, hopefully. Knock on wood. But your first system could be a desktop or a laptop, like gaming machine. It has already been tested and proven that the RTX 3060 laptop graphics cards, the ones with 6 gigabytes of VRAM, which if you click on, like, for example, this one right here, it's 1300. It's got a NVIDIA RTX 3060 6 gig. These 6 gig 3060s are not nerfed. You do not have to run a developer driver. You do not have to run anything special. You just literally mine on them, and they'll do 45 to 48 mega hash, depending. Some of them are better at thermals than the others, but basically, if you're going to mine on a laptop, you're going to want, I don't have one right here. I did used to have one, but you're going to want a laptop cooling pad up underneath that thing minimum. And as long as you can keep them cool, keep them under 70 degrees Celsius. I had a laptop with a 2070 in it, and I mined on it for like 8 months straight because I wasn't using it very much. So I just mined on it and made a little extra money. But that's a good way to get started into your first setup until you can actually snipe some cards. And what I mean by sniping cards is join some local communities. So, for example, I'm in North Carolina, and there's, North Carolina local computer groups. Search your local area. Facebook is a valuable tool, Facebook Marketplace, and start looking for graphics cards, looking for deals. Post on there. Tell people you're looking, like in your groups, tell people you're looking for a graphics card, those kind of things. And you'd be surprised. Stuff will pop up, and you're able to snipe and get some decent deals for the market. Obviously, everything is inflated right now, so that's just something we have to live with. But, starting off with a pre-built isn't the end of the world. So out of the laptops right there, that's 1300. That's prime. That could be here Friday. So, in a couple days, I could have 40-some mega hash and a fairly decent little i7, a good starter, actual usable computer right there. You could game on that. When you're not gaming, you could mine on it. Now, is that cost effective? No, it is not cost effective. That thing probably is going to make about $4 a day, and it will take forever to ROI that. But if you consider the price of the laptop after 6-8 months, even a year reselling, you're gonna get $600-700 for that. So could you mine $700 in a year? A little bit of risk there, but you still get a very usable system out of it. So it's all how you weigh it there. All you gotta your pros versus your cons. There's one for 1200. It's got a 3060 in it. Let's see here. There's a ton of them. Here we go. Oh no, it's 1900. Let's look at some pre-built desktops. Avoid 4 gigabyte graphics cards and below, unless you can get them for a really, really, really low price. So let's look at some gaming desktops. $2,500, $1,700. That comes with a 3060. So you're going to be paying more money. And if it's a 12 gigabyte 3060, if it's a desktop 3060, those are mining nerfed. So you have to run the developer driver, and you have to have them plugged into a monitor and into a full-size slot. So a lot more to deal with. And in my opinion, I'd rather pay less and get a laptop than pay more for that desktop 3060 build right there. 1650s, I would avoid those, especially for $900 and a pre-built. They can make money, but they're very limited, being that they only have 4 gigs of VRAM. What's this got in it? It's a 1030. Stay away. 100% stay away. Going further down, 1660 Super for $1,500. That is highway robbery. Good gracious. That daggone 3060 laptop's looking a whole lot better now. What's this, $600? Ryzen, just integrated graphics. Pentium. Wow, there's not very many good deals. 1650 for $1,000. 1660 Super for $1,400. You could have bought that 3060 laptop for $1,300. Okay. Well, my normal recommendation, where I tell people to maybe start out with a pre-build, maybe isn't that don't really work anymore. There is one other company that I've been looking at, Light Technology. I've had a friend buy a system from them. This is definitely not sponsored or anything. No referral link. Go there and buy stuff at your own prerogative. But he said the only problem he had is a long lead time on certain parts. I've went through this and I've built out a couple systems. If you want to, you can. The cheapest way possible is you click this Zalman Z9 right there. Then you go down, you go Intel, i3, Pentium, and then look right here, BioStar BTC 250. So you're getting a mining motherboard. So you could gut this system and turn it into a full, I believe this is a 6-card rig mining motherboard. So just, that's value right there. Now for the graphics card, you can pick the first one that's even viable for mining is that 588 gig. They also have 1660, a 1660 Super, 2060, and then over here on the side they got a 3080. So but say you were going to get the 580, you were going to get the lowest amount of RAM, the cheapest power supply, the cheapest cooler, 120 gig SSD, no extra storage, and a $25 unactivated copy of Windows. That's going to set you back $759. I'd rather you spend $700 and get a 588 gig than go on here and get like a 1660 for $1,300. That's crazy. There's a lot of other websites like CyberPower and I think HP, the Omen PC builder, that you can go through and build and find, and you can kind of fine tune exactly what you want. And that may be, it's crazy that that's becoming a viable option because the price of everything else is going up so high. So should you mine? Absolutely. Now, should you go into debt for mining? I don't suggest it. That's one of the things that's held me back from like taking big steps and placing big orders, is I have never gone into any significant amount of debt. Now, have I charged something on, a graphics card on a Best Buy credit card? Yeah, I have, $300-400 here, $400 or $500 there, one at a time. But what I'm talking about going into debt is I personally know people that have taken $10,000 to $20,000 personal loans at a higher than I would want interest rate and dumped that into overpriced mining gear. And that's setting yourself up for failure, because the market's going to come down, and if you're in mining and you stay in mining, you're going to be able to pick up graphics cards for less than MSRP. So just stick it out, stay with it, and before you know it, you'll be rolling in graphics cards. The hard part is just continuing mining through the bad times. That's when the market shakes out those weak hands. But anyway, I'm going to quit rambling. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I was kind of all over the place, but do your best. If you have any recommendations, please comment them down below on pre-built or websites for people to go and actually buy pre-builts for a reasonable amount. I'd love to hear it. But yeah, other than that, peace out. I'll see you on the next one. Adios.